I mean, look, I ain't gonna even lie. Did it work? Because I gotta admit that too. When that hand came out, did it work for me? Did I jump? I was like, shit. Because I'm gonna tell you, when the trailer, when it was doing that, I caught myself trying to look in that drive too. Fucking look, oh shit. Let's go ahead and get into, I told you we're going to try to catch up with some emails today. And so Manuel Green sent us this email asking and saying, you might have already seen this, but just in case you didn't, here it is. And they're talking about the new Mutants trailer. The big thing that has people talking about this is that it looks like it's going to be somewhat of a horror film, which would be a first for these superhero movies. If I am not mistaken, I'm interested in seeing, man, I got to put some drama in there.
Sure.
Narrate this, you know. I'm interested in seeing what you and the crew think. Do you think they are pushing the horror element too much to the point where it doesn't really seem like a superhero movie? Additionally, can you think of any superhero movies in the past that have incorporated horror? Emmanuel, that is an excellent question. And Martin, have you seen the new Mutants trailer?
I have not.
Well, Emmanuel is right. It's taking on a different flavor from the usual superhero movie.
I think that's what you got to do.
And it is what you got to do.
Because we are seriously hitting a saturation point.
Oh, man, I'm going to tell you how I feel about this after we watch the trailer, because Emmanuel Green says somewhat a horror element. Some people are saying, no, it is a horror element. It is a horror movie. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for the New Mutants, which does take place in the 20th Century Fox mutant universe. And we'll talk about these new added elements after this.
What is this place?
Someplace you don't want to be. Someplace where faces come out the walls.
It's a haunted house.
Get some rest.
Y'all like, nah, man, that ain't my mutants. Those ain't the mutants that I know. My mutants were fun loving. My mutants were guys who wore colorful outfits and were out there doing what superheroes do, fighting crime and got cool powers and had, you know, the bright fun thing going on. Oh, ain't the fucking mutants that I know. No, don't come over here with that scary shit. And I don't want to hear that. Actually, from what I understand, the reason why they're going the horror route with this, Martin, and you would know more than I do. Now, the New Mutants is a part of Marvel comics. They are part of the Marvel universe as far as the comics goes, and they do fight along the side of the mutants that we all know.
Well, yeah. They grow up and become X-Men. They are the Teen Titans to the X-Men Justice League.
Yeah, they hang out with Professor X and everything too. You know, they're just a new breed out there, young bloods. But there was, now, Martin, like I said, you could tell me this and give more information than I could on this area. But there was a storyline that went on in the comics called the Demon Bear. You ever read New Mutants?
Oh, okay. Because the whole time watching this, I was like, I don't recognize this from New Mutants. Maybe it was after I stopped reading, but I did read this.
Yeah, Demon Bear, where apparently a lot of things happen in a psychological ward, and a lot of things happen in one of the mutants' heads, where there was a lot of disturbing imagery going on, a lot of things that were happening because this mutant was going through a lot of stress and some mental illness, and therefore it came out in some of these more frightful and horror images that we see. And you know, if I was to say anything about this trailer, now I'm gonna tell you, because a lot of people are loving that this trailer's taken on a new genre, which of course is horror. I appreciate that. The only thing that bothers me, Martin, is that it looks like it's doing what conventional horror does. You know, there's a lot of imagery in here that's cool that I've seen before, actually, but they're also doing some of the jump scares. Close already.
Man, he had that dry turned on way too high.
Way too high. But trying to dry man in there. But you know, when you get into jump scares like that, I'm thinking, okay, it's great to do horror, but if you're gonna do horror and you're putting it in a genre where it's not where we normally don't see it, do something a little different with it. They even bring it in like the masked serial killer type. At least that's what it looks like. There's a guy with a happy face in here. That's the only thing that gets me with this, that makes me just kind of hesitant, is that they're playing the area of horror, but it's the stuff that we've seen before, even right down to the faces coming out the wall. That was see if I can find it here. The faces coming out the wall. That was something that they did. That was something that they did in Nightmare on Elm Street. That's an old image that we've seen, and they admitted that we were inspired by that, especially since it's more of a psychological horror thing going on. How you feel about this, though, Martin?
Excuse me. I like everything I see here. I love the concept that they are taking an established superhero franchise and crossing it with another genre, because that's kind of what this is needing.
If anybody's doing it right now, it's not Marvel. It's not DC. I know we talk about Marvel all the time. As much as we talk about DC getting it wrong, Marvel is even staying within a confined area.
Every so often they kind of branch out with something, but
not like 20th Century Fox is doing.
Right. Because when you look at everything they're doing with their X-Men properties, yeah, you got their traditional X-Men, but then you got Logan. This was more of a Western. And then you got their TV show Legion, which actually is much more connected to the New Mutants, because he comes from that book.
Yeah.
And that's all, it being a TV series, it's a lot of psychological warfare that goes back and forth.
Yeah. And it's not just that Logan is a Western. It's that they left the comfort area of a PG-13 franchise to make it a dark Western.
I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real.
If they play that song and that's the soundtrack to your movie in your life, just kill yourself, because wherever this is going,
end well.
It is not going to end well at all. They've also left the confines of a PG-13 area to do a comedy. You had the dark Western, now you got the dark comedy with Deadpool.
You're probably thinking this was a superhero movie, but that guy in the suit just turned that other guy into a kebab. Surprise! This is a different kind of superhero story.
And it was they're taking chances, and for some reason they're being very careful and smart about it, to where whatever they're doing, it's working. Mm-hmm. Logan was in the top 5 highest grossing movies this year until he got knocked out by some other films, but the fact that he was even there for a long period of time was amazing.
And even when you talk about the jump scares, I realized, like, I don't hate jump scares just to hate jump scares. I just hate the ones that seem to be there just for exploitation and sensationalism. Like it's a jump scare, but it's a cat jumping behind a wall or something. It's like, all right, motherfucker, you just wanted to give us a quick little cheap thrill and move on. But those look like they mean something.
I mean, look, I ain't gonna even lie. Did it work? Because I gotta admit that too. When that hand came out, did it work for me? Did I jump? I was like, shit. Because I'm gonna tell you, when it was doing that, I caught myself trying to look in that drive too. Shit. But the guy's like, man, you ain't got it worse than me. Open this motherfucker up, I'm burning.
Brother, you on your own.
Yeah, sorry, man. If I let you out, it ain't gonna be no better. Your ass is gone, along with my socks. But you know what? I am looking forward to this. They're talking about doing 2 more of this, making it a horror trilogy before it works its way into the mainstream storyline of what they do. And I admire that. 20th Century Fox, y'all are doing an amazing job. I mean, they stumble every now and then.
Sure.
With these.
Sure. Just even hearing that they were doing this, I was like, man, they just started a new TV series, The Gifted, which I've only seen the first episode and it's not bad. But it's like, how many of these can we take? Even somebody like me who's like, yes, give me more. Wait, hold on. Give me a break for a second.
Yeah.
Let me breathe.
But as long as they can keep using, and it's just one franchise, and they're able to go out there and just try these different things, and I find that amazing. I really have the utmost respect for that, I think it's wonderful what they're doing. As long as
it's the kind of thing that will keep it fresh.
Oh yeah. Now, the big question is, so they're doing this thing that everybody thinks is different. You know, everybody's looking at the New Mutants trailer and they're thinking, okay, you're putting a little horror in here. I don't think I've seen a mainstream superhero, like flat out superhero franchise take it to an area of horror. Have you ever seen that? Not just done completely, but incorporated into other superhero movies or done with other superhero movies. And I thought of, I probably have not thought of every movie, but I thought of a few.
Okay.
And if you have some that you recognize, Amon, you have some you recognize, and please share. But I went through my mental Rolodex and just tried to think right off the bat, what do I know that does have horror mixed into it, that does have also superhero elements in it?
Okay.
And I think, first of all, one of the most obvious ones is Blade.
Sure.
Who loves to show off that ass while he's fighting vampires. Look at it, he's just sticking his ass right out. He said, this is how I lure vampires. With that ass out there. But Blade is part of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Tomb of Dracula. I don't know if that's where he premiered or where he showed up at first, but he was fighting Dracula in the Marvel Universe. And everybody remembers Blade when he became very popular with his movie. But before, I think it was either after the movie came out or maybe it was a little bit before. Blade is such a big part of the superhero stories and mythology that goes on the Marvel Universe that he's even not only fighting with Spider-Man in the comics and some other people, but he's fighting with Spider-Man. Man, you remember the animated series that they had?
Yeah.
It was a really cool one where they tried to bring in all these people that Spider-Man had fought in comics, including the Punisher.
Sure.
But one of the people that he fought was, what was Dracula's name?
You thinking about Morbius?
Morbius.
The living vampire?
The living vampire. And they had, and Blaze, not if I have something to say about it, they had Blaze show up in the animated show that was on Fox Kids where he fought Morbius.
This time, vampire, you're finished. Stop!
Boy's like, I'm gone. Thanks, Spider-Man.
Why did you do that? Why?
All these people been trying to defeat Spider-Man with all these weapons and powers, and it's just two balls and a string that trip Spider-Man.
Yeah, where's your spider sense now?
Yeah, fuck you. Kill you with my rope, with my yo-yo. It's so Blade is definitely in the superhero mix. But then he had his own movie where you could say that was sort of
that was the first.
It was a first because it had superhero elements, but it had horror elements in it.
There is another world beneath it. The real world.
He just wanted to show off that the trench coat he got right there. Look at it flapping the wind. I will say that. Why would I say that this is a horror movie in some sense, or the horror movie elements? Well,
it's very much so. Tons of blood.
Oh,
and vampires killing people everywhere.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I mean, you talk about tons of blood. They had the beginning of them. They didn't waste no time. The beginning of the movie.
No.
Vampires just took a shower in blood. And it was also a horror element because they had that one dude. That was fucked up, man. They brought in one dude to just terrorize him. You remember that guy?
No, which one?
It opened up with a club and everybody's a vampire, but they brought in just that one dorky looking dude.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Not even just to eat him, just to fuck with him.
Yeah.
That was a bitch ass move right there. Y'all already fucking with him. He's already scared. You have to sucker punch his ass like that. I like the way he was scared at first. He's like, damn, that's a badass suit.
And he was careful not to get any blood on it, too.
Like he was just right there when the blood started. I'm getting no blood on my coat. The dude was like, I don't even like black people, but thank God you're here. That's very much a horror element in there. I remember looking at that. I was horrified. Can you imagine being in a room full of people that want to eat you?
Not really, but I'm sure it wouldn't be good.
What's that?
Well, I just laugh out. They were tenderizing their meat.
They were beating his ass at first. And then they all like, oh, hell, this nigga's in there. Yeah, man, it was. I always thought it was a very frightening opening. Also, a very cool opening too.
Oh, absolutely! It was a great way to open that movie.
You know, there's DC has their elements too. You know, there's Constantine, John Constantine, I believe.
Yeah.
Hellblazer was his comic, right?
Yeah.
But John Constantine, very much a superhero, more on the supernatural side, but nonetheless a superhero. Hung out with some of the DC superheroes that we know, some from the Justice League.
I guess I never think of him as a superhero because he's not like he wears a costume or anything. Or
But he's got
even
powers.
flies. He does have powers.
And he does hang out every now and then. He'll hang out with Batman.
Yeah.
Who's he talking to now?
Shrouds. They deliver souls to hell.
They're drawn to you.
Or maybe it's a cologne, Batsy.
Boo.
Fuck out my face. I like the way even Ghost is scared of Batman. Shit, I'm sorry, man. Trying to come with that cool shit. Hell, he cheated us, man. Get the fuck out of my face. Put your ass in Arkham Asylum. So you see, he's definitely steeped in the superhero world. Of course, when you go and make a movie with him, this one with Keanu Reeves, who looks nothing like the character, but they had a star. It did turn into sort of a supernatural horror film.
Mr. Constantine,
Yes.
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You know, uses superpowers too. And the thing that happens in the movie that really does deliver the horror element of it, you know, people still scared of exorcisms, man.
Yeah.
You know, ever since The Exorcist, if there's an exorcism going on in anything, you can put that shit in a family film. It's going to scare the hell out of people. And they did have, the movie I don't think is all that great. I remember seeing it. I thought,
What, Constantine?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember not liking it at all.
No, I don't think it was that good. I don't even remember hardly any of the movie, but there was one part of it. This is why it came to my mind when we were asked about horror elements in movies. I do remember them having an impressive exorcism part where he goes to like a Latin country and tries to get a demon out of this girl. And, you know, there's some freaky imagery going on in there.
Smile pretty, big prick.
Oh.
Yeah, see, he even got your ass right there. Oh shit, Constantine, look behind you. You know, there's a demon that's pulled from this girl, and the demon pops up in a mirror. And I was thinking between the imagery that we traditionally see in the exorcism genre with the little girl that's possessed and the pale skin and veiny skin and the eyes, and then mixing it with a effective combination of CG for that one demon right there, I thought that's definitely a horror element that's going on. Here's something that you educated me on. Years ago, there was a comic book artist who had a girlfriend die in a car wreck, and he was so depressed about it, just angry at the world, and said, you know what, before I go out and become the Punisher and try to find this guy and kill him, maybe I should take my aggression out in my art. And he created a spirit of vengeance with the Crow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, as time goes on, they don't know that The Crow, the one with Brandon Lee, was actually based on a comic book. And in the comic book, it is that. It's a spirit who's looking for revenge and going out and trying to kill the murderer, the murderers of his girlfriend, of him and his girlfriend. Actually killed him too. And that's what really makes this a movie that is a kind of a horror element, because it's a guy that comes back from the grave.
Sure.
You know, how many EC comics have we seen where a guy comes back from the grave to take vengeance out on those who have wronged him? That's horrible enough right there, that Miramax. This shit ain't as scary as Harvey Weinstein.
But sometimes, just sometimes, the Crow can bring that soul back to put the wrong things right.
Hello. You know, with this, it's also the whole mythology of Brandon Lee, who died during the filming of this. You know, there was a some shrapnel or something that was lodged in a fake gun.
Yeah, well, it's one of these things where some people have the belief that a gun that shoots blanks shoots nothing but air.
Well,
a lot of people have died going like, what, man? It's just blanks and holding up to their temple and boom, killing themselves.
Oh yeah, no, Brandon Lee would have something different to say about that. That killed him. And so there's almost this whole thing of his spirit coming back and being over this movie. Like how, man, what a coincidence that there's a dead guy coming back. And now we're watching this guy from beyond the grave. And a lot of people, you know, they consider the whole thing to be also very gothic.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that was always in the design of the character.
Yeah. And don't get it wrong, because it has a lot of cool things going for it, where the gothic part of it and just the look of it kind of steers people away from the horror element that goes on in it, especially the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is one of the most amazing soundtracks that I've ever heard. And it's a soundtrack that tells a story, like it's the song from The Cure, where it's a great song while he's getting ready, he's getting prepared to bring his vengeance down on those. You know, the movie has a great drive to it. The movie has a great soundtrack, which keeps it upbeat, but the look of it is, you know, if you watch it for Halloween, it's one of the most amazing movies to watch that will get you in that mood.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a long time. You got me wanting to go revisit it.
As you watch the movie, where he just goes and just kills one person after another, he is their slasher. It is a horror element that's going on in this, and he gets it to them bad. So yeah, he fucks people up in this, man.
Hey man, if you're gonna be the spirit of vengeance, you can't be pussyfooting around. Otherwise, nobody respects you.
And plus, I love how depressing the movie is, and how this character is so morose, and how he's just so he's so torn and so haunted, and yet he makes depressed look sexy as fuck, man. Oh, yeah. I found this. I'm like, damn, for a dude who's really sad about his girlfriend, you look like you back on the market real quick. Oh, I gotta say, you pretty much got a calendar centerfold.
Hot ghost out there.
Let's go into our next one right here. This one, they did a straight up horror movie with it, and a lot of people probably don't know about it because a lot of people don't know about this character. Martin, this is what happens when you take a man and mix it with a thing.
Oh, yeah.
You get the Man Thing. People like, yeah, what the fuck is that?
Did they make a Man Thing movie?
Martin, they made a Man Thing movie.
I mean, I knew, because I thought you were going to get to Swamp Thing, because that was even though there's a lot of humor elements to it, especially the second one. But the first one is definitely a horror movie.
I didn't even think about that. I'll come back to that because I didn't think about that.
I didn't know they made a Man Thing movie.
Yeah, they tried, and Lionsgate released it. Now, here's the thing with Man Thing.
Whoever knows fear burns at the Man
touch
Thing's
of the Man
touch.
Thing. Yeah, or the Man Thing's touch. Because I used to like Man Thing because it just looked so weird. And Man Thing was actually such a weird character that came in and hung out with other superheroes. He hung out with Spider-Man. Spider-Man hung out with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking living plants and shit. Yeah, hung out with Spider. Man Thing was one of the few creatures that beat the shit out of Hulk. Couldn't look, he choking the shit out of Hulk.
He is.
Hulk was like, ooh. And that dude behind him like, yeah, get that motherfucker.
That's Benicio del Toro's character from Guardians of the Galaxy.
It is. Strike my slave at the command of the collector. Hulk was like, that's why I'm losing. When you shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ, I'm trying.
Get your boy over there.
But we even had Man Thing. I think his origins actually came in from the multi-dimensional adventures of Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
And Howard the Duck, that you can see him right there, and the Man Thing behind him, they actually went on several adventures, I believe. I'm not sure. But, so, you know, the Man Thing is very much steeped within the superhero mythology of the Marvel Universe. And they even put the Marvel logo in the movie. But the movie,
Please tell me you have a clip.
I got a trailer.
Okay.
I don't even know why they did a Man Thing movie. I really don't.
Me either.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. What it is that he's this. You got these people. It's an environmental horror movie. Okay. You know, you got these people coming around throwing trash around the swamp and polluting the environment. And Man Thing, like, I can't have this shit. You know, I've been hired by Greenpeace to whoop your ass. So he comes back, and they actually have, as I said, the Marvel logo on there. Even mention Marvel because I guess at that point Marvel was starting to get a little popular.
Oh my God.
See, it's pretty much a slasher movie. You have sex out in the swamp. Why? I don't know. Get a real case of swamp ass out there, but you do, and man thing is there to kill you.
I can't see anything!
Marvel presents
some shit they don't want you to know about.
Yeah, I feel like Marvel doesn't.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Not that shit. Nah, you can see, Mark, it's one of those things where it's like out there. Of course, since it's an environmental horror movie, only the Indians know about this creature out there. Go home, white man. Before this thing of man, the man thing gets you. Before we wrap it up, there are some things out there that don't really come from the comics. They stand on their own. But they are superhero horror movies. There was one that was touted as the world's first horror superhero.
Toxic Avenger?
No. And that's another good one, man. I didn't think of those things because they're usually more sci-fi comedy to me. Mm-hmm. But those are good points. The one I'm thinking about is your boy Darkman.
Oh, right.
Darkman was a dude played by Liam Neeson, directed by a guy who's known for horror.
Sam Raimi.
And what happened with him was he goes around the city in a big ass trench coat and fedora, bandages on his face because he was in an explosion by some corporate villains that blew him up and made him look like the Phantom of the Opera or something. And he's burned mostly over the percentage of his body. He ain't got no lips, no more
feeling.
No. Oh, that's right. He had no more feeling.
Yeah, that's what gave him his power, that he couldn't feel pain.
I forgot about that.
He cried all the time. It was always weird. He was always crying.
Well, it doesn't mean my heart doesn't ache.
My pain is on the inside.
Physically, I don't hurt, but emotionally, I'm very sensitive.
God damn, you ugly. Hey,
come on.
That hurts.
my tear ducts still work, and I'm crying. Shit, you be mad too. You have no fucking lips. Teeth just as cold, but his other powers were.
I guess like Harvey Dent would look at him and go, "Shit,
damn, I thought I had it bad.
I'm gonna stop complaining now."
Hey, you make a motherfucker feel handsome. Shit, I'm kind of all right. I'm sorry, brother.
I'll just turn to one side. Yeah. I look good.
Man, stop. That hurts my feelings. I'm sad, man. But his other powers, you remember what his other powers were?
I know he had the man of 1,000 faces. He could make those masks.
He could make masks like in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He had the easy bake oven of mask.
Right, but then they start dissolving at some point.
Yeah, he had to get the sun after like an hour because it was like it couldn't stand photosynthesis or something. Uh-huh. But yeah, that was his thing. He was a scientist who had this formula for creating skin. He's like, oh, this would be great for burn victims. Who would have known that would happen to me? The irony. But it turns out that, okay, so it dissolves very quickly, but it does give him time to look like any of the people that have wronged him and tried to kill him, and it helps him extract his revenge.
Think you're killing? And he pops up someplace else.
In the darkest.
Damn, those effects look primitive now.
They do.
Damn. Roman Film Productions presents the best of the best Darkman. No, wow, the green screen effects were heavy, man. But yeah, it was that was so he had these powers, so that meant that he was kind of a superhero.
Oh, very
in a
much
way.
so.
It was funny too.
I mean, that movie it made its bones by riding the backs of Tim Burton's Batman.
No, it did. They even tried, every other time, man, this dude had clothes. For some reason, when he had his skin on, he could find a nice shirt and some pants.
Right.
But then when he become Darkman, he finds some shit that he dumpster dive to get, some Goodwill shit.
Yeah. It's like he went to the trash can behind the Shadow's house.
Yeah, I don't want this shit no more, Darkman. You take it. You ain't number the second rate me anyway. Who knows what shit the Shadow don't want? Darkman knows. He's like, I'll take it. Let me find this clip here. We're about to move on, but there was because he's got another power, and I forgot to pull up the clip, but there was let me see. There it is. Call me Darkman. There was because he had another superpower, and I thought they didn't even try. I hate what movies do. They even try to hide this shit with him. He also had the power to enunciate perfectly with no lips at all.
Oh,
Julie. Don't you think I told myself that?
Damn, you wouldn't ventriloquist act right? Mars, right? You try to do that shit. His act, but don't you think I told myself that? Try that with no lips. You try to do that. You know they made him talk because he sounded like a racist Chinese stereotype when he doesn't. Julie. Cut.
that's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work. It don't look right. Yeah, we ain't getting sued though. Yeah, Darkman with no lips.
Liam Neeson.
Before
anybody knew who he was.
and then Frances McDormand.
Right.
Before she looked like an old Liam Neeson. Last one here is, you know what? I only put this in here because it's not really a horror movie, but it was such a bright and colorful film that when they did something in there that was horrifying, it stood out. I'm talking about, you remember about Mystery Man?
Oh, yeah.
I will go Pompeii on your butt.
You know, this was Ben Stiller and a bunch of other people very popular at the time.
Yeah, William H. Macy.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria and what's her name?
Yeah.
Janine Garofalo, yeah. And Jeffrey Rush as the villain. And back when he was the big
Pee Wee
guy,
Herman was in this.
Pee Wee Herman, yeah. Pee Wee Herman was in it. I forgot about that. He's the guy that farts.
Yeah, the spleen.
The spleen. Had a skin condition and farted a lot. What's that? Kel Mitchell, and it was based off of a comic, the Flaming Carrot.
Yeah. Had a super team in there called the Mystery Men.
Yeah. And this guy, who was the
Greg Kinnear,
who was on his way to being a big star, and they cast him as Captain Amazing, I believe, in this. But it was such a colorful film. They killed Captain Amazing in that.
In a horrific way.
Man.
I felt sick to my stomach watching that scene.
Did you remember when it caught you up? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. This movie's just goofy up to that point. Like, yeah, it was like, what the hell?
That shit horrified me more than anything I've seen in any of these other movies. It was like one of the most effective but horrifying scenes of body horror in a movie that I had witnessed.
Jesus, man.
Wow, it was like David Cronenberg came in to guest direct this one part.
Yeah.
I remember was watching this with you. You was like next to me, you're like, fuck. I was like, did y'all really do that? Because I thought they were going to change him back.
Me too. But when you see him like that, it was like, there's no coming back.
Oh, no. It's like, yep, he's dead. Yeah. So even with movies that seem innocent and fun, they have their horror elements in there too. Just thought I'd throw that in there real quick. Martin, I didn't bring it up. I wish I could show the trailers right now, but Martin did bring up some good ones that I didn't even think about. He brought up Swamp Thing from the 80s, man.
Yeah.
And I guess that did have some horror elements in it, especially the way they burned the guy who became Swamp Thing, the way they set him on fire.
Oh, yeah. It's also got a body horror thing in there because one of the muscular henchmen, they give him the Swamp Thing form and it turns him into this little mutant-looking thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, if y'all haven't had a chance to see Swamp Thing, it's actually a pretty good adaptation. That I thought.
It's all right.
Because I like the costume, but it's been years since I've seen it. Oh, and they do a comic book thing with it too, where they actually like turn pages, kind of like they did with Creepshow.
Right. They did do that. Yeah, that's right. It felt like Creepshow.
Monsters and midgets. The Swamp Thing.
Okay, maybe that costume not as cool as I remember, but
for the time, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I just love the way that trailer don't even try to be PC with it. And midgets.
Nobody was even thinking about seeing little people at that time.
At the time, yeah. Midgets. Chinaman.